We told you today we're going to give you a lot of good vibes, great music, and of course, big conversations. And of course, the lady we were waiting for, she failed us the other time, you remember.
And
I don't keep grudges, but I remember.
Just let me tell you something.
Yeah, please.
There are very few people in this country of ours that go out there with an entourage. Okay.
Oh.
Do you know? We can only handpick. There's Ruto, there is Obama, and then there is Mary Njoki. And I think if you'll allow me, let me just have that courtesy of introducing.
Please do.
Her.
Please do.
So, Mary has carved her name among the most influential young leaders in Africa. In 2016, she was named the founder of the year at the Foyer Awards and recognized in the top 10 under 30 and in charge by the Daily Nation. The following year, she received the Young African Women Leaders Excellence Award in South Africa. That was a couple of years back. And then in 2018, she was celebrated as one of the Africa's top 40 under 40 women leaders by Amazon Watch magazine, and she was also nominated for Kenyan Young Entrepreneurs Award. Fast forward to 2024, Mary continues to inspire as she was named among the top 50 most influential and inspirational CEO by African Capital. Now, I've always known her as the CEO and founder of Glasshouse Public Relations, but we'll obviously give her a chance to tell us more, and if there is any more awards that you have wrapped up under your belt, because it seems like with every year it's almost as though you wrap up another award on your achievements, which is awesome. And it's and thank you for having thanks for being in our show, Mary.
Okay, I think you're trying to say thank you for having me in your.
Thank you for being at Spice Drive.
You're welcome. In regard to awards, of course, there are many that have come, but I don't keep them because
you don't keep tabs.
I don't keep tabs because I've come to a place where they're not the ones that define who I am or where I am.
So who defines who Mary Njoki is?
Okay. Should I start with answering what we do or your question?
Start with mine.
Excellent. You're the boss now. All right. My definition of who I am is based from my spiritual background. So I tend on my spiritual walk with God. So I tend to define myself as God is, showing me who I am. So it's not necessarily the things that I do or the awards that I get that defines who I am. So it's deeper than that.
Oh, that's very interesting.
Yeah.
I like the spirituality in human beings because it exposes more about us than exactly who we are.
Yeah.
So now you can tell us what you do.
Thank you. So even what I do has been drawn from my spirituality. So and we'll discuss that more. So I run Glasshouse PR, which is a public relations firm based in Kenya. Started out many years ago, 13 years ago, at the age of 23. So we position brands across the continent and also globally using PR and media. And many years later, we worked with over 100 organizations, international brands, and even some African governments. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Dennis.
It's just amazing to see that you have, being in the presence of the great. I mean, Mary, tell me, or rather, tell us this. Where did you get started? Because this is very interesting for our listeners to know about your story, right? What got you into PR? At the very incipient stages, you've said that, you started PR some 13 years ago. So curiosity is like, what drew you to PR as opposed to an accountant, as opposed to all the other careers that are out there? What was that one specific thing that you thought, okay, you know what, if I delve into this, I might be able to create some impact? And was it easy as well?
So it's not a straight line. And then I've always told a story of, I was in technology, then I moved into PR.
Right.
But then I love the door that we've opened in terms of spirituality, because it's in finding my purpose, or in knowing what, or rather in looking for what I was meant to be, that I found PR.
Right.
So I don't know whether to say I was privileged or I was privileged to.
Do you know, Mary? I'm a little bit like, when you say spirituality, right? And I know that it does play a crucial role in informing people's decision. Are you saying that for you it was almost as though it was a divine calling of sorts?
Yes.
Right.
Yes. So I always give a story of how, and it's my story, how I was. I finished high school at the age of 16.
Right.
I could not afford to go to campus, so I ended up going to college, and by the age of 19, I was working.
Yeah.
And I worked in technology firms. And when I was working in the second technology firm, I was also volunteering with, it's a youth-based organization. Mm-hmm. And in this youth-based organization, I discovered that what we were doing there, whether it's, we used to have events, we used to work with some artists, musicians. We used to do a lot of things, which I later discovered that's PR. So in my pursuit for, because when I worked in the second company, I remember going there and I'm like, okay, I'd finish my work by 12 and I'm like, okay, why was I actually, born? What was I meant to do? It's that hunger, or that looking for what I was supposed to do, that
purpose,
led me,
trying to find your purpose,
why I was created, that led me to actually find more, I wouldn't say satisfaction, but I was finding more
money.
I mean, they were paid. No, they were. First of all, I was volunteering at the youth-based organization,
fair enough.
Then I was being paid very little money in the technology company. I think those days less than 20K. But I would enjoy what I was doing at the youth-based ministry, whether it's coming up with events, whether it's media, which I later discovered was PR. So when I discovered that I was enjoying this thing and it was giving, I don't want to say it was satisfying me, but I could see a path when I was doing what I was doing with the youth-based organization. So with that, that's when a hunger came, and I started asking, okay, why was I born? Because when I was 16 to that point, I thought I was supposed to be a computer engineer.
Yani, you started having existential questions very early on.
Yes.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Yeah. So I thought I'll do computers, tech, etc. Of course, I didn't afford to go and study computer science, so I tried to study a bit of IT there, here and there, but at this point is where the hunger and the push to discover this PR media thing came about. That's where I saw a path and an opening.
Fair enough. Charles, you and I know that there is a lot of misconceptions when it comes to people are not quite able to place a finger on what PR people do.
Yes.
And now we do have an expert amongst us. So there's a common misconception between what PR really means and what PR companies do. So dispel that common misconception. Is PR marketing, right? And try to inform the audience on what PR really narrows down to. Like, help us understand, Mary, because you're the expert.
I have an analogy I usually give, but
Sure.
before I give the analogy, I'll find a lot of misconceptions in PR. So it's my favorite topic. Topic. When I came into the industry, first of all, PR was equated to events. So that is 13 years ago. So
did it still have the same public relations?
What do you mean?
Like, did it still have the same acronym? Like, PR stood for public, has always been public relations.
Has always been
but
public.
You thought it was events.
People around, or the thing around would be, it was equated to events. So even interns would approach me or approach us, and they'd be like, I do events, so I'm good in PR. So I'd be like, no, but PR is about strategy. It's about positioning brands in people's minds. What are you talking about? An event is just a tool we use when it's part of the bigger strategy, but it's not events.
Right.
Then later, of course, we were like, PR was equated to spinning. So when it comes to politics or, even companies, then I'm like, but that's not PR. So for a long time, I kept fighting with people. I don't know whether it's fighting is the word, but I kept, trying to disabuse people from the way they've understood PR to come to and then PR people were seen as people who don't think. They just, create nice events and then they show up. But I mean, over time now, this has evolved, and PR is more about strategy,
damage control,
impact. That's the other thing. PR is not about crisis comms. Thank you for bringing it up.
This is why I need to be educated on this issue, because I've never quite understood what it means. And one of the things that I've always thought is like, all right, a company such as Safaricom, huge company, the CEO makes a huge mistake, and that's kind of where we start looking for Mary Njoki and Glasshouse to address how the company is going to, the image and how it has been dented to do damage control. And you're saying that that's not what
that's
PR
not
does.
PR. It's part of it. It's so when we come into contact with companies, we like to tell them, okay, fine. This is a strategy we have for you for the whole year.
Right.
And in communication, whether it's digital, whether it's using traditional media, certain things in your company might come up. So we would do crisis communication manuals. But with how the world is moving so fast, we have to we've come up with other ways on teaching people on how to handle crisis.
Right.
But now that's part of it, which is 10%. I'd say.
Well,
but
really?
People have decided to say PR is about crisis comms, and it's not. But that's when they think they need PR. And let me go to my analogy.
Okay, go for it.
So when you find two people talking, so this person A and then this person B. So there's one person this person A is speaking to person B, one-way communication. That's marketing, because it's one-way communication.
Right.
Then we move to a different frame, and then the same person A is speaking to person B, and they keep repeating a particular message. So let's go back. So maybe person A was telling person B, my water is good. And then in the second frame, they repeat, my water is good, my water is good, my water is good, my water is good. That is what we call advertising. Right. Then move to frame 3. Are we together?
Yeah, we are together. Part 1 is one direction.
Yeah,
that's
one
marketing.
communication.
Part 2, there is a lot of repetition. That is advertising.
Yes.
Let's go. I'm in class.
You're still here. We move to frame 3, and that's where PR and branding comes into place. When a third person comes, and not the person C now, comes and tells person B, actually, the water that person A was telling you is good, it's very good.
What? You got to repeat that. Charles, did you get that?
Mary Njoki, the lady who has been winning many accolades in the world of public relations and doing great things in positioning and brand awareness. If you have a brand out there who needs to be positioned, of course, Mary is the person to get to. Now, Mary was telling us something very interesting about the analogy of advertising and, of course, which the first one was marketing, advertising, and, of course, PR.
And branding. Yes.
So,
let's get into it.
All right. So, I just hope we are clear on marketing and advertising.
The distinction is very clear.
Excellent. In PR and branding is where there's a third party who is person C, who comes and says, actually, what person A is telling you is the truth. Their water is good. So there's I didn't want to use the word endorsement, but it's people who have, it's like the endorsement of the third party. And then branding is where now another person C comes and say, they actually, I've used their water, and the water is actually quite good. So when it comes to public relations, there's usually an introduction of the third party, mostly to affirm the messaging that has been going forth. But that's why we say public relations is more has more impact than marketing and advertising. And stays in people's mind more because you're positioning a brand in someone's mind. And it's, you're seeing someone being endorsed by maybe someone you admire. So it
has that like value message.
Yes, and then it's a two-way message, and with digital media, you're able to see who you are engaging with when it comes to your products or your services, and what they're saying about you. So it's a two-way communication. It's never a one-way communication.
So there's that interaction between two parties.
Yes.
Now, Mary, when a lot of young people out there are listening to your story, some of them might be tempted to think that they can just get to your level. And there is always this something that we spoke about last year, right? And it was something that was so powerful, illuminating, and inspiring. And we talked about humble beginnings, right? Discuss with us and let our audience clued in on your humble beginnings and the values that you learned from that journey, because haukufika tu hapa leo. True, right? You must have had hurdles. You've worked with some really huge companies, right? Like Facebook type. I think last time we were talking about Facebook. So when it comes to humble beginnings, tell us about that journey for yourself as a person. You've obviously induced a lot of the spiritual element of how that aided you. But talk to us about that humble beginnings and what people can actually learn from your journey, including the ups and downs.
I can repeat or I can share briefly as I get into the nuances of where I came from.
Right. Remind us of that Ushago. I remember that.
Yes.
place.
Okay. Fine. I grew up in Garariga in Limuru.
Charles, can you pronounce that? Try.
I'm a Limuru born.
Pronounce it, Charles. We are putting you on the spot.
My friend, I'm born and bred in Limuru. 100%. That's my home.
Haya, sema yo jina basi. Sema yo.
Garariga.
Yeah.
The Garariga.
Yeah.
Garariga.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm brought up in Limuru throughout my life, so I have very many homies in that town till now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So Garariga.
Yes.
From he said it, and it's you find yourself in a place where when you look where you were and where you are, both from a physical perspective and even from a spiritual perspective, and that's why I keep insisting on the spirituality behind, or rather that's the only way out. But growing up in a single parent house, basic, she was a teacher, so it's basic, everything is basic. Getting into high school, and I think by the time I was getting to high school, she had to get a loan for me to go to high school.
Right.
And it wasn't like, but maybe it was a lot of money then, around 30K. But then she had to get a loan, and then, for you to go to school. And then once you get a loan, the way the salaries are, reduced, deducted. So I think at the end of the month, she's getting like less than 1,000. So I don't even know how we would survive in terms of
making ends meet.
Yeah, making ends meet. But then the interesting thing about being in a village like that, when you need food, you can just go to the shamba and get potatoes or get
there's that convenience.
Yeah, so it's not like the way when you hear stories about people who grew up, in Nairobi and in the ghetto areas. But yeah, that's the kind of background. But more so, when you look back, you're like, that was training for whether it's discipline, and it was required for, where I was to go to. Yeah.
I'm really inspired by the humble beginnings.
Yeah.
And you talked about spirituality.
Yes.
And we know that spirituality gives a compass and a more of grounding for individuals.
Yeah.
Would you say that's where you got your calling and also your ability to focus on what you're doing now?
Yes, I would say yes, spirituality. Yet at that level, you don't understand what is going on. I had just had this hunger, where, for example, when I grew up, we were Catholics. But then one day I just woke up. I was 11, and then I went to my mother and I told her, from today, I don't think I'm a Catholic anymore. And I'm not saying, I mean, it's not even about the denomination, that's a different conversation. But as I told her, I'm no longer a Catholic. I saw this church in Limuru town, actually. That's a church I'll be going to. It's a Protestant church.
Word of Faith.
Yes, Word of Faith. How do you know? Okay, wow. So, yeah.
He's only affirming that he grew up in Limuru.
Yeah.
What was the name of that village again?
Garariga. And I'd walk, to Word of Faith.
And I know Garariga is uphill. It was Manguo Primary School where my brothers went to.
Yeah.
You come into Limuru town where we lived.
Yeah.
And you walk into next to Mangakona where Word of Faith was.
Yeah,
I know the town very well.
Yeah. I can see.
It's my hometown, actually.
Your geography in Garariga area.
Yeah.
It's very good.
Yeah. So, and I went to this particular church looking for, because there's this hunger that is driving me, looking for satisfaction. But it's until you now are introduced to God, then you realize this is what I was looking for the whole time. And it's not about religion, because God is not a Christian or a Muslim or a Hindu, his spirit, So just being at a place where I kept looking for that all my life. And in looking for that, I'd stumble into, this youth ministry, which is K-Crew, where we used to volunteer and do TSO and all these things. And it is in those places I'm like, there's something, here. Then I meet people who introduce me to different things. And I'm like, okay, there's something here. So I was always looking, but in that looking for my identity in God, in that looking for this spiritual compass, that's when I found God and I found, what I'm doing now. And even today, I can tell you that the more I've become, the more I've grown spiritually, the more my purpose has made sense, to the point I understand. So, Glasshouse is not just any company, it's a different platform. And if you are going to shape narratives and shape policy, it has to be shaped according to how God wants it to be. So now I start thinking different, and I start seeing evidence in many things. So in terms of how God now shows up.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Why did you decide on Glasshouse? Why Glasshouse?
At the beginning, because I'd been employed for 4 years, so I had issues with my bosses. So I remember when the person, first of all, I had a different, very weird name.
Hapa.
Niwashtaki.
Call them out.
Well, and my idea was, so I had a different name. So this is an interesting story. So in 2010, when I was employed, remember I was still looking for purpose and all these things. I registered a company called Diva Image Experts. Very, very weird name. So when 2012 came and it was clear, to leave employment, I started sending emails out with that name. Then someone called me. They're like, hey, what are you trying to do? At that point, I was like, I just want to do social media management for people. And when he called me to the office, he's like, what do you want your company to represent? I'm like, I think the thing I've seen not working where I have been is transparency and clear communication. So I want the company to represent that. But obviously, as I've walked, the name has made more sense in so many ways. Yeah.
So now you decided this is
this is it. Yes, he asked me. We actually didn't find a name then. We wrote so many names. Then as I'm walking out, the guy texted me, "What about Glasshouse PR?" I was so excited. I went to Sharia House there and there. There was no e-citizen, and registered. Yeah.
Ulimnunulia chai? That's the question. If I was a participant in this company that's doing very well, I might come back and be like, Njoki,
I gave you my name.
I contributed.
I contributed.
But here's the thing, Njoki. Like, there's just so many young people. Charlton, you can appreciate this. There's so many people out there who do not appreciate that. For someone as young as yourself to have an accomplished business that is running, that there are challenges that become manifest, and that you have encountered. Talk to me about some of the challenges that you had now in managing your business, and what people can learn about, I suppose, some of the virtues that you are able to espouse in that journey, like, say, patience and so on and so forth. But help us understand, like, we were talking about, and I know you know this, we've got so many young people who it's like microwave generation. They want to put food in the microwave, new kit, toa, I'm ready. But they don't understand that
The
whole
process.
the traditional kabla microwaves. Okay, food had to be cooked manual, and they just don't understand that there is a process there. So this is where I'm coming from, Mary. And now you have a business that has enabled you to travel. You're doing very good for yourself. So what would you say about that?
The many challenges that you face. First of all, when I started out, I was 23 years old, and at that point, because of the level that was at, I was really trying to prove to people that I can do this. So did a lot of pro bono work, which was good in terms of being people recommending us.
Yeah.
But now in doing my pro bono work, I got into spaces represented people who I wasn't supposed to represent, and it got me into whether it's trouble, but I mean I believe in the all things work together for good. So even as I was getting in trouble, I was becoming a better person.
Yeah.
For example, in 2015, trended, KOTs have always been, KOTs.
What does KOT stand for?
Kenyans on Twitter, so they've always been, those people. So there's a time I represented someone who the brand wasn't authentic, and I was doing the work for free. But then later realized, and when I shared a press release on that, it became a whole thing, and people were abusing me on social media, all that.
Yeah.
And in that, it was building my character of, are you strong enough if you
Resilient.
face resilient, other things is on, employees or people you're working with. People come, you train them, then they leave and they go to another place, and you have to be at a place you're like, it's fine, maybe I was meant to train people, so but then you over the years you realize the people who are meant to work with you in that, because it's a different journey. The people who are supposed to work with you in that particular journey, they'll join you one day, so you keep going, whatever whatever happens. So at the beginning, a lot of that,
So you kind of learn who is who in your journey.
In my journey, and then a lot of also like that time I was really trying to prove myself, and because people like that time I trended, someone from a very big agency now made sure, like on Twitter, they'll always be waking up to abuse me, just to bring me down,
just
or
to kind of
they're
get you to understand.
You own a PR agency. How come you own a PR agency and you this is how you tweeted, you even left a comma in your tweet. So there's a lot of that, and a lot of people asking, who is this girl who has come into the industry? Yet 3 years down the line, Facebook came and they worked with us. So everyone was like, okay, how is that possible? How is that possible? So
Yeah, fair enough.
So I think the PR industry is a red ocean where people are many sharks in there who are fighting each other. And for when you get in as a new entrant, you really get a bit of challenges, and some of them you're highlighting. But also, it is also what I call a blue ocean, because with a young person like you get better opportunities to showcase what you got.
Yeah.
So if you look at the years you've performed and you've run your company, is there anything which you've seen that needs to be changed, or something which is illuminating to you that you've discovered in the process of your duty?
That's a very good question. At the beginning, for some reason, I wasn't thinking about other agencies. So I was just following this path I've seen in my head, the picture that I'd seen. So it's later I discovered, there are other agencies and they fight people. Oh, okay, interesting. Or not they fight people, they, some people in-house want to bring you down, like the example I've shared.
Right.
But then, because when I was coming in, I was very clear that I'm coming to bring technology and PR together. I hadn't seen anyone do that. Then over time now, we've been able to define our own path. So we are not necessarily competing with the next person. We are like, come, let's collaborate. Let's see how we can work, whether it's on a whatever big project. So what I've seen is definitely when we started out, more understanding of what PR is, but also more collaborations and more use of technology to enable what PR is, which is what I love.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think you've captured it very well, that when you envisage to start a company, sometimes you don't see the trenches you fall in. and you realize, oh, there's a trench here and it's bigger than I expected. But you always overcome the challenges and you ride into a future which is bright and all that.
Yeah.
So when you look at yourself in 5 years, where do you want to take the Glasshouse PR to?
We have always known that you're a very ambitious person, Mary.
Yeah.
And we're very curious as to know where in 5 years.
I'll be telling you.
Yeah. You tell us. Tell us the vision.
Well, what I can say now is that we've gotten to a place where we are doing data-driven stories.
Right.
So we have already a full in-house team that is doing research and development.
Right.
So one of the things we did in 2025 at the beginning of the year is to launch the Glasshouse PR report, the state of PR in Africa. So we interviewed agencies across Africa, over 15 markets.
I think I saw one of those in one of your pages.
Yes.
I was keen to follow you on that.
So we interviewed different agencies, and we have data of how the industry is doing. We know how clients respond to whether it's a value of PR. We understand how many PR agencies are using AI, what they don't understand about PR, about PR and AI, and that integration technology. So we are building more in terms of data, so that we can do data-driven stories. We're also building a lot of tech products. I might not be allowed to speak about some of them, but we are launching some tech products that will enable us to, whether it's to do data scraping, to understand what are people saying about particular brands. So we are going way beyond just doing normal PR, but then how can we shape the industry? How can we start shaping narratives for Africa? For example, we came up with Africa PR Week. And when we, and we brought agencies across Africa, and we are inviting everyone, We were not, saying that, if you're from this agency, don't come. We're inviting everyone. Yeah. And we are like, in last year I went to a meeting in Turkey, and I realized and it was a C-suite, meeting, but they still don't understand the story of Africa.
Right.
So I'm like, let's come together. Let's, as PR professionals, as storytellers, how can we now start telling the story of Africa?
So when you went to Istanbul, you said, right?
Yeah.
They speak Turkish. How are you able to just use interpreters?
And the summit was held in English. There were many people from different parts of the world. Yeah.
I'm very curious, Charles. Sometimes you see that the only companies that use PR is very huge conglomerates, and I'm very curious as to whether small businesses can get in on the advantages that having a PR agency advocate for you, whether that's possible. If you're is that, can small businesses benefit from PR agencies, or is it just kind of designated to big companies?
Everyone can take advantage of PR or leverage on the power of PR. Right. What I've seen, and I can quote our report.
So you've got a small business here in Utaly. I know a friend of mine. He makes at least less than 10 million a year. How when it comes to the consideration of PR, he might think that, this is an unnecessary cost for me. The likes of Glasshouse only service very huge companies. How do you convince them that, these are the kind of services we can provide to your organization that can benefit you?
So at the heart of PR is storytelling.
Right.
And I've seen a lot of young people, and even Mama Mbogas, take advantage of that using digital platforms.
Yeah, fair enough.
So we actually, when I started out, would do a lot of work for small businesses. Some may not afford the big budgets like for big conglomerates, but then would meet them, ask them, what are your objectives? What do you want to do? And then would work with them, either do a strategy for them and then train them on how to implement that. So anyone can leverage on PR. And what I was saying earlier, in the report we did, we discovered a lot of people in Africa, across the continent, don't understand the power of PR or the value that PR brings to the table. No one has demystified what PR is, and because of that, now there are so many misconceptions, including this one that
the ones that we started with.
And even this one that PR is just for big companies. It's not.
Charles, what do you think?
I think Mary has really told us very interesting things about what she's doing, and what I appreciate is that the connectivity between promoting and putting brands and shaping narratives and storylines, but also her personal life about spirituality and the drive which takes her and from her company.
There's a lot to learn from that, especially the spiritual element of it all.
I didn't know you didn't know that I'm very spiritual.
I didn't know that you're very spiritual, and I also didn't expect you to pronounce that
but
Lemuru Giri
Garariga.
Garariga. Hey, Garariga.
You know,
I didn't
my
expect
first
that.
language was Kikuyu because I grew up in amongst everyone. So, but anyway, it's a long story for another day.
Charles, important people like yourself and Mary, you tend to associate with big dogs. We call them big dogs in the corporate industry.
Yes.
Mary, how easy it is to land big deals in the corporate world? I mean, if you're a small business out there, you're probably wondering, you know what? If I get this tender, if I get this company on my side, if I get to land this, what's the process of like landing a company like Facebook? Because you know what? If Facebook came here today, I would figure out a service that I can provide for them. So how is that process? And like people who would like to advance their businesses, right? Advise them. How can they land on big clients, and what's that process like?
So first of all, we don't like associating with them. They come to us because of the value we give them. Yes. So
we don't go to them. We don't go out seeking for them. They come to us.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I love giving the story. Okay, I won't give the whole story, but there's a project we did with Disney. And it was a project where they were trying to teach children in East Africa on how to conserve the environment. It was called Team Sayari. So they were doing a production, and then we were the PR unit. So for me, it's more of once people come to you and there's value they see, then they are willing to partner with you or to, to work with you.
Or give referrals.
After you've worked with them, they'll refer others. Because actually Disney, after we worked with them, they referred us to come work with us. So it's more of what value are you creating, and are you checking in marketing, we call it your unique selling point, or rather what's that. So in PR, I know it's more what are the ideas you're bringing on the table, what are the strategies you're bringing, how are you positioning yourself, how have you built the team around you, because now it's not a Njoki thing, it's now building a team that can now come and enable to enable certain projects to be seen from beginning to the end.
Kizuri chajiuza. How does that
Kizuri chajiuza, kibaya chajitembeza.
I think Mary has really captured you well. And with that msemo Kiswahili saying kizuri chajiuza, kibaya chajitembeza. Mary, maybe you give us your handles where people can reach you, because and if anyone wants to meet and to get into contact with you, where do they get in contact with you?
On Twitter and Instagram, at Njoki116, and then on LinkedIn, where I'm mostly dwelling, Mary Njoki.
Mary Njoki.
Yeah, so you can send me a message.
All right. So you've heard it from Mary Njoki, the lady who makes brands come alive, the lady who is doing great things in the world of public relations, and we really appreciate Mary Njoki coming to be with us in the studio this afternoon, of course, in the Spice Drive. And she has given us very important nuggets for your business.
Of wisdom.
And anything you need to grow. So it's been a pleasure hosting the lovely lady, young, driven, motivated,
I'm no longer a youth, but thank you.
You're still a youth, Mary. Stop.
No,
it.
like in Africa, they say after you've turned 35, that's it. I'm still young.
The youth in Kenya,
where did you read that?
Until 39. Youth in Kenya until 39.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Listen, and every year it keeps getting...
And Cameroon, 98.
Yeah.
We keep extending the goalpost.
So we'll extend for you. Don't worry.
Okay, cool.
So we appreciate you, Mary. It's been a pleasure hosting you this afternoon, of course.
Yeah.
And I've she's my home girl eventually.
Yeah.
I've met my home girl in the studio today. To all the peeps we grew up in Limuru, you see people are
Shout
doing
out.
great.
Shout out
to all of you.
Yeah.
The people who I know and you know me, CEO Charles Otieno. That's my hometown for a very long time. Yeah, so we appreciate Mary for showing up this afternoon. Mary, asante sana, and for you, may your business succeed and may God keep blessing you.
Amen.
Keep doing what you're doing, Mary.
Yeah.
It's inspiring to a lot of young girls out there, young people who are trying to start their own businesses. They can borrow much from your story. And that's why we invited you. Last time we got a lot of requests from our audiences because you inspired a lot of young people. And that's what we want to see. That's what we want to push forward. So, yeah, keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you.
And you're always welcome to come back to the Spice Drive show.
Thank you.
All right, Mary. Thanks very much for showing up.